So anyway, I'm talking so fast. Why am I talking so fast? I feel like I'm excited, which is the whole point of this video. I'm so excited. My point is, honestly, I was so proud of myself because it just showed me in that moment that I'm different now. You are now tuned in to the In Those Jeans limited series, dedicated to the 16-year-old version of me who was fighting to feel good in her own body. In less than a month, I'll be turning twice her age. So I figured, as a gift from me to her, why not heal her for good? Okay, so I actually don't know if you know this, but you don't get a gold star for hating your life on a weight loss journey. Not only do you not get a gold star, but if you are one of the lucky few who's able to hate their life while still losing the weight, there's a high chance you will not maintain that weight loss because liking your life is more important to you than liking your body. But I'm here to tell you, my love, that you can have both. You can love your life and then love the body that comes along with that life. And no, I'm not talking about settling for where you're at or convincing yourself that you like what you see in the mirror when you don't. That never worked for me. But if you've been watching the past few episodes of this series, you understand that I'm taking a very practical approach to losing weight while still romanticizing the journey and enjoying my life while doing it. By the end of this video, I will be going through the 5 rules that I'm currently following that have kept me extremely consistent on this journey, specifically through the lens of actually having fun while still losing weight. So if you are someone who doesn't believe that you need to literally hate your life in order to get the results that you want, then come along with me on this journey because you are going to love what we have to talk about today. And if you're new here, hello, my love. I am Rima, your tough, loving big sis who takes her own advice, and you are now tuned in for another episode of Rima's Rules. Today is actually episode 4 of the In Those Jeans series, where I am on a mission to fit into a pair of jeans that was originally 1 month ago 2 sizes too small, and now with a month to go is only 1 size too small. Today we're going to talk about how I'm cranking things up several notches because I actually got a little bored. I'm not going to lie. The whole premise of this video is this is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's not supposed to feel like this pressure that's on me. I am a firm believer that taking care of your health and wellness and even weight should be fun, even if it's challenging. Let's rewind a little bit to the past couple of weeks. So a few weeks ago, and I didn't want to talk about this until things were okay, I found a lump in my breast. So obviously, spoiler alert, everything is okay, thank God. But I found a lump and I kind of panicked and I'm like, I don't know how long this has been there. I felt a little bit upset with myself for not checking more frequently. So I immediately scheduled a visit with a doctor. Thank God, everything is completely fine. It's just a cyst and there's nothing to be worried about at all. But that did get me thinking about my health in general. I am about to be 32 years old and I just feel like I could be a little bit more proactive about my overall health outside of just the gym. So I found out about a Dexa scan, which apparently is so much more accurate than just these weekly measurements I've been doing or any scale that you get on, because a Dexa scan tells you a lot about your body fat percentage over time. So I scheduled one for Ahmed and I, and we literally went in that day, and it just felt so good to be doing something for myself that is so data driven. But one thing I was concerned about was seeing the weight. Like, I didn't want to see how much I weighed because on this journey I've been extremely protective of my energy and of my confidence and excitement. The scale has always been one to mess with me because I have an impression of what number I want to see, and if I don't see a number within that range, it starts to mess with my head. So anyway, I had spoken to the guy that was administering the DEXA scan, and I'm like, hey, when I see the results, is my weight going to be written on there? He's like, yeah, unfortunately, your weight has to be on there because the body fat and lean muscle mass that you have has to be taken relative to a number, which is obviously your weight. He's like, it'll be at the top, so if you want to ignore it, you can ignore it. So I'm like, cool, I just won't look at it. Tell me why, girl. I was clicking the link to download it after the results were ready, but it like popped up so fast and all I saw was that number. And I'm very surprised because I did not like the number. I did not like it. but I did not have the reaction that I would normally have. I looked at the number and I just made a decision in that moment that I'm not paying attention to that number moving forward. I made a decision in that moment that I haven't been getting on the scale because I want to deprioritize this number from the story that I tell myself. And so that shouldn't be different right now. You have this whole freaking, it was like 3 different papers of all this data that you can choose to focus on. Why are you going to fixate on this one number that is objectively the data point that is least effective of telling the story about your health? Honestly, I was so proud of myself because it just showed me in that moment that I'm different now. That line of I'm different now is going to come up a few times in this video because that's been so important in keeping me encouraged and excited on this journey, is just feeling like I'm being different. I'm being someone new. I know I can do it this time. I am doing it this time. And I know that I can keep it off this time because I have so much evidence and data that I'm different now. I want to use the Dexa scan results as my metrics moving forward. We're going to measure up these results every few weeks to see what my progress looks like over time, in addition to the jeans that I'm about to try on right now. Meet me in my bathroom. You know the drill. Today is Monday, September 16th at the time of recording this video. I first tried these jeans on for you on August 16th. It's been exactly a month. We're going to see how it's looking 1 month away from my birthday on October 16th. The results are speaking for themselves. This is not a thing that I'm just going to magically stop on October 16th. I have fully become a completely different person throughout this journey, and the whole entire point of this was to make it fun while I became a different person. And truly, it would not be nearly as fun as it has been without the 5 mindset shifts I'm about to get into right now. First things first. You are transforming your entire life. I need you to start acting like it. We tend to bring so much emotional baggage and just kind of like sad, negative feelings to our weight loss journey. And that ends up making it so difficult to continue on because the narrator in our heads is often telling us this sob story about what we're doing. It's like,
this is so sad. I have to track my calories. This is so sad. I have to drink more water. It's so sad that I need to work out more.
When in reality, you're transforming your entire life. You are doing something for your health, for yourself, for your body, for your confidence. That is so commendable. And I wish that we could just reframe that voice and that story in our heads to match that. If that seems unclear to you or inaccessible to you, here's what I want you to do. Think of something that you've accomplished or are currently accomplishing in your life that is very challenging, that requires commitment and patience, yet felt exciting. I liken it to how I imagine authors feel when they write a book. It's not this like easy thing, right? Like every day they need to commit to writing a certain amount. They need to edit it. They need to think of the cover design. They need to reread it and just kind of be overly analytical about it. However, they wake up with the motivation to continue doing this thing because they're so inspired by the thought of this book in their hands one day. And when that day does come, they feel so good about what they were able to do. But what's more important is they're able to carry those good feelings throughout the whole journey, even when it's hard, even when they're tired, even when the words just don't seem to come out, even when they're second guessing the title and the book design a million times, they're still driven by this amazing feeling of, wow, I am changing my life. I'm bringing a book into this world. I had that same mindset when I was studying for my GMAT. Everyone who has ever studied for any type of exam like that understands how challenging these exams are. They understand that sometimes you take a practice test and you bomb it, and sometimes you get an amazing score and it just plays with your emotions. They understand that it requires hours and hours and hours of you either working with a tutor or drilling all these practice questions. However, for me, I romanticized that entire process. I would wake up every single day and go to a coffee shop at 9 a.m. I acted like like I had a full-time job because at that point in time I wasn't working. And I romanticized something as unsexy as my GMAT. I would get my nice little iced latte. I bought all these different colored highlighters and pens and these cute little notebooks, and I truly sat and romanticized my GMAT all the way to get me into a top 10 business school because that was my motivator. I was changing my life. So something that seems as challenging and annoying and difficult as deciding to sit at a coffee shop when all my friends were hanging out, or deciding not to go out on a Saturday and take a practice test for 4 hours instead, it still felt fun because I knew I was helping myself achieve a goal that was so important to me. And even as someone who's had all these different job experiences, who's traveled the world, honestly, nothing in my life is more important to me than how I feel in my own body. Nothing. And I had to get very real with myself about that very recently. Like, I've had so many ambitions and things that I've desired, and I've been able to put my head down and work my ass off to get those things. But if I'm very, very, very honest, I would trade half of those things if I had to for feeling good in my own body. That taught me something. That taught me that the desire has always been there. It's not like I haven't wanted this thing. I've never stopped wanting this thing. But what's the issue? Oh, the issue is that I'm not enjoying the process, because every other time I wanted something really, really badly, I found a way to romanticize the process, as challenging as it was, and convince myself that I actually like doing it so that I can get that thing. So my love, this is not boot camp, unless that's fun for you. If feeling like it's boot camp is fun for you, then do that. This is not this like torturous thing that you're doing to yourself. This is not this sad, gloomy journey you're embarking on. This is this exciting, amazing, fun journey of you literally changing your life, because what is more important than the body that you occupy to every single thing you experience in the world? What is more important than feeling good in that? So I want you to reconnect to why you want this, but then also infuse the fun, which these next 4 steps are really going to help you do. Infuse the fun back in the journey. Reframe your story. This is not a sad thing that you're doing. It's a really commendable, exciting, yes, challenging, but extremely gratifying and beautiful journey that we're all on. Which brings me to number 2, protect your process. Trust me on this. Nothing is more important than protecting your energy on this journey. I will never forget being an oversharer and like telling certain people in my life what I was doing when it came to weight loss in the past. And in came all of the opinions about everything I was doing right or wrong, or all the things that would probably fail, because everyone thinks they're a doctor and a scientist and a nutritionist. And look, I don't mean any shade by this at all. I think these people in your life are probably very well intentioned. I think they love you. A lot of these people are just projecting. They may have tried something and failed, and so they want to protect you from that. And so instead, they just start projecting their failures and their experiences onto you. I don't know about you, but that messes with my head. So I've kept certain things to myself. As a matter of fact, because I take my own advice, there's something I'm doing over the next 2 weeks that I will tell you later. Okay, I'm not going to tell you right now because I'm protecting my process. I really don't want to introduce something into the world that I'm trying and I still feel very, very, very excited about. But the reason I'm not telling you is not because I'm not transparent, but it's because I'm taking my own advice. I don't want people commenting about how they tried this thing and they failed, or they don't think that this makes any sense, or any of that, because I know above and beyond all else, science is one thing, but how I feel will always trump that, because no matter how tested and true something is, if I don't show up every day consistently doing it, it's just not going to happen. I don't care what the studies are about this certain cutting edge workout. If I don't like the workout, I'm probably not going to go. So I've learned over the years to really, really prioritize the things that excite me, which is why I'm switching some things up, because I got a little bit bored in the first month and I feel ready for something new. Other ways that I've protected my process, I have become a pro at this, is just not linking my routine to somebody else. You can become very codependent when it comes to something as emotionally charged as weight loss. And I'll give you an example. When I was at my most consistent before now, this is the most consistent I've ever been. But there was another period of my life around 2017 when I was extremely consistent and I was just that gym girl. Like, I was always in the gym. And there was this one acquaintance, I wouldn't even really call her a friend. We just knew each other through other people, and she went to my gym too. So she pulled me aside one day at the gym and she was like, Rima, you're so consistent. Like, oh my God, you come in all the time. I want to be as consistent as you. Can we be accountability buddies and come to the gym together? And I felt really mean, but I straight up said no. I'm like, I love you, but no, I don't want to do that. I don't have accountability partners. I don't do none of that, because the second you have a mood that day, it's going to affect me. And I've been doing so well on my own, having my own motivation and my own momentum, that I don't want to link my motivation to someone else, because there are so many days where I don't feel like going, but I still get myself in here. And no offense, I didn't say this because this would be really mean, but in my head, it's like this, you might be dead weight. I don't know what you're like. I don't know what your motivations are like. And you might be more motivated than me, but the whole point is I don't want to link my process to someone else. So as much as people love accountability partners, one thing, even with my husband, I'm very careful about, like this new thing that I'm trying. I had to sit and have a talk with him straight up. Like, are you doing this for me, or do you want to do this for you? Because if you want to do it for you, that's great. But don't do it for me, because then you're not going to be motivated and you're going to fall off, and that's going to mess with me. Like, I don't want any of that. I'd rather you just not do it. And he's like, no, I really want to do it for me too, because he also got a Dexa scan. And so we're both kind of like focused on our health. So anyway, I'm talking so fast. Why am I talking so fast? I feel like I'm excited, which is the whole point of this video. I'm so excited. My point is, I'm not saying don't have accountability partners at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you need to understand yourself and what motivates you and what excites you, and just protect your energy at all costs. If having someone as an accountability partner helps support your energy and excitement, by all means do that. But if you feel like them kind of being less committed would mess with you, then I would reconsider if that makes any sense. I would not recommend this outside of this specific context of what we're talking about, but I create a little rabbit hole for myself that is like a self-fulfilling rabbit hole. And what I mean by that is, let's say I wanted to try weightlifting. Let's just say that I've never done it and I want to get into it and I really believe in it and I'm really excited about it. If I've decided to commit to that, I am going to search for YouTube videos and search for books that tell me how amazing it is to weightlift. I am going to intentionally search for things that reaffirm my excitement and they kind of fuel that excitement. I am purposely not going to click on the video that says weightlifting is a myth or why weightlifting spikes your cortisol. Like, I'm going to purposely not click on those videos because I understand that there's a lot of different things within this industry that work. And my energy towards that is going to be what keeps me consistent. So I don't want to plant any seeds of doubt in my head about what I've already committed to doing. I hope that that makes sense. Like, I'm not encouraging you to not be a critical thinker. And I know that this has very negative implications when it comes to politics or just truth seeking in general. But when it comes to like something as sensitive as health and fitness, where there's so much noise, one person wants to talk about how carbs are the devil, and the next person wants to talk about how fat is so bad, and the next person wants to talk about how we're supposed to be intermittent fasting. There's just so many different schools of thought about what's right and wrong. What I've started to do is just pick what I want to believe in and just find ways to get excited about that and find all the girlies who are vlogging about that thing so that I can feel very encouraged and confident and protect myself from the naysayers and the doubt that is just going to feel like an anchor pulling me down. So just try that and let me know how that goes. Rule number 3 is to switch it up and keep it sexy. Nothing has kept me more consistent than actually finding little things about this journey to get excited about. Whether it's a new recipe that I decided to try or a new workout class that I decided to take, or even, the outfits that I put together at the gym, there is no greater and more accessible tool to stay excited and consistent on this journey than literally romanticizing every single part of the journey, from the water bottle that you drink your water out of, to the cute little outfits that you put together, to even documenting the journey like this. To me, this is a big part of romanticizing it, is actually documenting it and having fun editing these videos. The other day, I've been cooking meals at home. Honestly, that was the thing that I think has changed in me the most since starting this journey, is I've really learned to cook at home. I would always know how to lunch prep, like prep little easy dishes for lunch, like my famous tuna salad that I'm always making and eating. But dinner meals felt a little more challenging for me, not just because we were always in the habit of ordering food, but also just because there's just so much more variety in the things that I was making that I just wasn't as experienced at. So instead of feeling like that's the sad story of I can't order food, kind of going back to rule number 1, I am having so much fun with it. The other day, I decided to make a traditional dish that I used to eat a lot back home, but I have never tried to make it on my own. And it's kefta with batata, ground beef meatballs, I guess you can call them, with potatoes. And it's usually made in like this red tomato sauce. And I'm like, oh my God, not me. Not me being like a housewife learning how to cook traditional Lebanese food. And I'm like, you know what? Why not? So I was walking home. It was literally like 3 p.m. And I normally start making food around 5. And I had already decided to make my burrito bowls that I make every week. But I'm like, girl, you have the ground beef. You can make kefta by scratch. I was having this little dialogue, literally walking home from Target. I can make kefta from scratch. Yeah, girl, it's just ground beef. You just like cut up onions, cut up parsley, add some of the 7 spices. And I'm like, okay, but do we have sab'a baharat? And I'm like, you know what? If I walk into Whole Foods and they have that spice, I'm making kefta tonight. It was fun. It felt like the school project that I was on. And this whole entire series has been about healing my inner child. And this was part of it, of like making this dish that I used to eat back home when I was young. And like, can I have fun and try to get all the supplies and make this thing and it actually be good? So I found the spice at Whole Foods. So I go home, I start making it from scratch. Ahmed came home and he was shook. He's like, are you making kefta? And I just was like, listen, we have a rule now where if I try something new and it doesn't end up tasting good, we get to order food. So it feels like a win-win. Like I tried something new, but I didn't get punished for doing that. I was actually rewarded for doing that. Either A, because the thing that I tried to make ended up tasting so good, or B, because it didn't taste good and then we got to order food. As a child of immigrants and a high achiever, I don't like being bad at stuff. So I want to try new things. I don't want to be upset with myself if I try new things and they don't turn out good. Like I want to reward myself. I want to kind of like heal my inner child by allowing her to play and be creative and have fun without feeling like she failed if there wasn't a specific outcome. That's kind of what I mean by like keeping it sexy, keeping it fun, doing things that keep reaffirming this idea that like this is a fun, exciting thing that I get to do. I get to explore different kinds of outfits. I get to explore different kinds of workout classes, whether you're doing it at home on YouTube or downloading ClassPass and trying different things. We live in an era where there's just so much accessible to us. You can literally hop on TikTok and find a plethora of different recipes for healthy foods that will keep you on track. So whatever feels fun for you, even if it's not cooking, maybe it's signing up for a certain meal service that is just more aligned to your goals. Maybe it's a different tea recipe that you replace one of your coffees with or one of your sugary beverages with. Whatever it is, try to focus on the fun, because staying aligned with this goal can still be fun. Like we really don't get bonus points for having less fun. You don't lose more weight if you make yourself suffer more. You definitely don't keep that weight off if you make yourself suffer more. So why not actually embrace the process of becoming a different version of yourself? Which brings me to rule number 4, and that is to embrace doable challenges. I don't know about you, but nothing builds my self-trust like saying I'm going to do something challenging and doing it. Now, that can be a double-edged sword, because sometimes when we challenge ourselves in a way that's not realistic and we end up falling off, it can start to eat away at your self-trust if you do not adjust properly. However, I've learned to not bite off more than I can chew, literally and figuratively. But like, for real, I know myself well enough to know what a challenging but doable goal is for me. So I started off this journey from day one saying that I'm going to hit 5 workouts a week. At that point, I had already kind of built up to that place. So that felt like challenging, but doable. It's definitely challenging. Like last week, actually, I canceled my workout on Thursday, which had I just continued about the week with my pre-scheduled workouts, I would have only hit 4 workouts that week. So what did I do? I decided to double up on my workouts on Friday. I have a trainer in the morning, and I decided to do a workout class that night so that I could hit my 5 that week. That was a very challenging week because I was super tired on Thursday and I let myself cancel the workout. However, I made up for it and it made me feel so good about myself because yes, it's very challenging, but it is clearly doable if I'm able to do it over and over again. If you have a specific goal for a day or a week and you've tried it several times and you're failing several times, then that's probably a sign that it's challenging and not as doable for you. If you're going from 0 workouts, don't start with 5 as your goal. Start with 2. 2 is challenging but very doable for someone who's starting at 0. If you're starting at 2, jump to 4. That's challenging but doable, and they don't have to be on separate days. You can can hit 2-a-days on 2 days and you're at your 4. So I want you to create goals that have enough built-in flexibility, but will challenge you to become a new person in the process. The challenging but very doable goal that I am setting out for this upcoming week is we are not eating and watching TV at the same time. I say this is very challenging for us because nothing makes me want to eat more than turning on Netflix. And that's kind of been the habit that Ahmed and I have literally started our entire relationship with. And even though he and I are very active and we work out and we try to be super healthy, at night, you better believe that TV is on and we've ordered food. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not going to stop watching TV at night. And we're definitely not going to stop eating. But the challenging but doable goal for this week will be that we eat on the kitchen island like a normal couple and have a normal conversation. And then when we're done with our food, we can come over to the couch and eat. Sorry. We can come over to the couch and watch TV. The way our brains work, TV has become a trigger for me to eat, when in reality, the trigger for you to eat should be hunger. But a lot of times when I sit on this couch, I notice that I start snacking or I start eating because I'm on the couch watching something and that triggers my brain like, oh, you should be eating right now. So watch your triggers, and if you can decouple them, then that's great. In our case, my hypothesis is that we're going to eat less because we're actually excited to like watch TV. So the only thing standing in the way between us and our, TV sessions is the meal that we're finishing. I do think it'll be probably difficult in the first week because I'm sure while we sit down to start watching, we're going to want to snack on something. But I'm going to be extremely disciplined because I know this is something I can do, and I can't wait to let you guys know how it goes. Find something that is incremental. It's a small incremental change. And in my case, I want to feed the belief that I'm different now. It's kind of what we talked about earlier. Like, I want to show myself that I'm different now. And that's so important to me because I've gone back and forth over the years, losing weight, gaining it back, losing weight, gaining it back. And I'm so confident that this time is different because I have become a completely different person in the process versus all those other times I tried to change my habits without really changing who I was in my outlook on the journey. I would just try to do these temporary, very extreme fixes when in reality, I would just snap back like a rubber band to the same person that I had always been. This time is very different. I'm just stretching myself a little bit more every week to try to do something within reach that would require me to step into a more elevated version of myself. And so every single time I've been able to do that, from working out 5 times a week to starting to go to a personal trainer, even things that I'm doing in my personal life that if you've watched my other videos, you may have heard of. I started taking dance classes. I have a vocal coach. I literally got a car so I could start driving in LA and go to my trainer. Like, all of these choices that I've made are constantly feeding into this line and this belief that I am different now, so that when my self-sabotaging thoughts try to come up, like, what makes this different than last time? Or you're just going to lose weight and then when the holidays come, you're going to gain it back. Like, those thoughts try to come up. Now my internal narrator will stop them and be like, no. You're talking to that old person. She doesn't live here anymore. She's changed her mailing address. Okay. I'm different now. You're talking to this version of me. Come correctly. Take me off the call list. You're calling the wrong person. You got the wrong number. That's kind of how I feel now that I've done all of these things to just completely step into a new identity through these challenging but doable goals that I've been setting for myself. Last, but certainly not least, is rule number 5. It is okay to change. I was gonna write, it's okay to change your mind, but I want you to think about it even more generally than just changing your mind. It's okay to change. So much of what I felt held me back, this is gonna sound so weird to anyone who doesn't get it, but if you get it, you get it, is feeling like people just expected me to be the version of myself that was overweight and had certain habits. I truly felt like I wasn't allowed to change. Like, I felt like how other people saw me and had always seen me mattered more than how I wanted to see myself. And so a huge part of this whole entire journey for me is just giving myself permission to change. I don't care how I looked when they last saw me. I get to look different if I want to. I don't care if people expect me to do X, Y, or Z. This version of me gets to call the shots, and she's deciding that things are changing. When it comes to changing your mind, even on this journey, if you've committed to a certain, let's say, from rule number 4, challenging but doable goal, and you realize that you're just not aligned with that goal anymore, then change your mind. It's okay. There is no shame in what we call in the business world failing fast. If you decide that you're going to try Pilates and it's just not vibing with you, then just stop and do something else. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to change your mind. I don't care if you told all your friends and family that you're keto and that this Thanksgiving they need to accommodate your keto lifestyle, and then you decide to stop doing that and maybe, try something else. That's fine. It's okay to change your mind. This is literally your life, your body. I can think of literally nothing more intimate than what you decide to consume every single day. So I say all of that to also update you on why I'm no longer measuring myself. And that's because I'm taking my own advice. There was a moment where I had made that decision in my head and I'm like, oh, but I've been making these videos for them and I've been measuring myself and I feel like I'll look like a hypocrite if I stop. And then I'm like, this is for me first. First of all, no one's gonna even care. Second of all, you changed your mind. You're taking your own advice. There's nothing wrong with that. And I know I started off this whole thing basically telling you all that I've had a weird relationship to the scale, which is true and it still stands, and I will not be weighing myself. However, as I was doing these weekly measurements, I also felt weird because number one, there was just the logistical element of I constantly kept second guessing whether I was measuring in the same place every week. That's what starts to happen to me when I start doubting my progress, is I start gaslighting myself into thinking I'm doing things wrong or there's something wrong with the process. So when I started noticing those thoughts take over, I'm like, this is not making me feel the way that I want to be feeling on this journey. And then on top of that, I realized that because naturally, measurements are not gonna change like this, it started reaffirming this belief in my head that nothing is happening. When, as we could see from these freaking jeans, something is clearly happening. The jeans buckle and they didn't used to be able to buckle. So obviously something is happening and I feel stronger and I feel better. But every time I would look at those measurements, it would reaffirm this idea that nothing is happening. That was kind of also why I decided to do the Dexa scan. And where I'm at right now today is I'm going to rely on my results over time with this Dexa scan, which is the most accurate measure of body fat, to tell me how I'm changing. And I can really think of nothing more self-loving than allowing yourself the permission to change your mind. Allowing yourself the permission to feel into things and decide, okay, well, if all I've been saying over the past several weeks is follow the feeling is the most important thing. And if this is not making me feel good, then isn't this antithetical to the process? And I really want to encourage you to also apply that rule to yourself. It is okay to change. It is okay to decide that you want to take a different approach. It is okay to allow your feelings to guide the process that you decide to take, because you're wise enough and you have enough foresight to understand that your feelings are the fuel. That's not to be confused with motivation. Okay, you're not going to feel motivated every day. And I'm not trying to say that if you wake up one day and you have no motivation to go to the gym, then you should follow the feeling and stay home. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you've decided to commit to a certain approach to weight loss and that specific approach no longer feels aligned, then you're allowed to follow what does feel aligned. If it stops feeling aligned to track your calories, for example, then stop doing that and replace it with something that does feel aligned, because that feeling of alignment is going to be what fuels you along the journey. And more importantly, committing to feeling aligned is going to be what keeps the weight off, because you're going to feel like you're in the identity of the person who does this versus introducing something that creates so much natural resistance. It's going to be obviously so much harder for you to maintain your results if you're introducing resistance for no reason. I took a couple weeks off from vlogging because I wanted to give you the most honest version of how I've been feeling. And I've been feeling like I've been having so much fun. I feel like I'm just a completely different person, and I'm just very, very, very excited for what's about to come, because I am trying new things. I am keeping it sexy. Look in your closet, put together really cute outfits that make you feel good at the gym. Maybe even the way that you organize your closet. Let your gym clothes be so easy to access and so easy to put together. For the longest time, my gym clothes are organized in a very efficient and clear way so that I could grab a sports bra, grab a tank top, grab yoga pants, grab socks. It's all right there. It's super simple, super easy. Just have fun, my love. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be you transforming your life. I know you've watched enough YouTube videos where you've seen people's transformations and literally like they talk about how it's changed their life. That can be the case for you too, but it's going to be so difficult to feel that way if you're constantly comparing yourself to where you want to be instead of letting every single day feel like this amazing thing that you're doing for yourself. One quote that I've had to live by, I think I made this up, but if someone else did, let me know, where it's stop checking the scoreboard. And I had to live by that because I'm like, man, like if I was playing basketball, which I used to play, and with every dribble, I'm looking up at the scoreboard. First of all, someone's about to like steal the ball from me. But second of all, I would just not be able to get into a flow and actually like enjoy the game, right? I'm very competitive. So yeah, I want to win. But the way to win is not to just keep checking the scoreboard and making sure I'm winning or to constantly be stressed about where I'm at. The way to win the game is to put your head down, dribble the ball, do what you know you need to do, and go from there. Same thing with my GMAT. Like I was taking practice tests about every week, but I wasn't fixated on the numbers. I was using it as data to help me figure out how to get better. And that's kind of why I'm trying to move into this whole Dexa scan thing every couple of weeks. I do believe that data is important, but measuring myself every single week definitely felt like I just kept checking the scoreboard and I couldn't get into this flow. Thankfully, I would get into the flow because I would try to ignore it. But back in the day when I used to weigh myself every single day, oh my God, it felt impossible to enjoy any part of the process because I was checking the scoreboard every single day. So if you resonate with any of this, if constantly looking at numbers and metrics feels triggering for you, then don't. Focus on the fun. Focus on the flow. Yes, absolutely continue to introduce challenging but doable goals because at the end of the day, if you're challenging yourself, then you are not the same person that you were a week before. If you're not putting this time pressure on yourself, then it's going to constantly feel so fun for you to just get better every single week. And that's what I've been focusing on and why it's just been so enjoyable for me and why I'm still making these videos because let's be real, I would not have the energy to get on camera and talk about what I'm doing if this wasn't fun for me. But it's been so fun and so gratifying and I feel so excited about my life because I know I have become a different person tenfold and I'm so excited about the several different versions of myself that I'll get to morph into as I continue to recommit to this goal. I would love to hear from you which one of these 5 mindset shifts resonated the most with you. And as always, my love, I'm not gonna ask you to like or subscribe. I know you hear that way more than enough. But if this video resonated with you and if you found it helpful, then bring a friend with you next time. Let's leave people even more powerful than we found them. I love you so much and I will see you on the next one. Bye.